hopes and fears, written in gold. Truth appears, the stories unfold.
Good morning, Maureen. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the My Tarot morning reflection, our daily inventory. Good morning, Jenny. You know, and I was sitting here thinking, it's like, so I see some tarot readers online, and they do these big predictions. It seems like it's not like an individual thing. Like I hope that I come across here where each of us gets to find a topic to think about for our day. And so I was kind of talking to somebody about this. And as I was kind of explaining, every morning when I talk about, it's like a thread going out to the universe, each thought, each different, blah, blah, blah. But I believe that the biggest difference that can happen is based on the individual. You know, trying to do a big giant reading for the United States. Well, okay, that's fortune telling and predicting. But when maybe connecting with somebody who hears something they needed to hear, or we understand something we needed to understand, then that's another thread going out to the universe, and that's going to affect the people around them, which will affect the people around them. So that's kind of my thought as I do these in the morning, is just, if I can put out a positive thread, then maybe somebody else will then generate that positive thread, and that's two of us. And then so forth. So just kind of a discussion we were having. I was trying to figure out a way to verbalize it, because it's in my head, but it's just not one of those things I've verbalized. So anyway, welcome to the morning reflection, our chance to put those positive threads out into the universe, and start our day off with a healthy breath, followed by a healthy cup of coffee. And listening to the cards like they're the sounds of the ocean reminds us, oh yeah, where's our feet at? Are they flat, or are we comfortable? Can we roll our ankles? Oh, that feels good. And then having our butts do the kitty dance, make sure it's nice and soft in there and comfortable, and check in with the shoulder meters. How are our shoulders feeling? And then the neck. And then hopefully that light switch is kicked in, where now we can kind of attune ourselves to whatever energies the universe has. So, again, there are no coincidences. Everything's an omen. So we want to take into consideration that every time cards are shuffled, that's a billion more combinations. And then when we stop, there's almost zero chance of ever being able to have the same combination of 78 cards. It is. So we just try and align that with the universe. So what are we going to do then? We are going to make our 3 stacks. And why do we do that? Well, each one truly is a different thread going out to the universe. It's like each one of these is a different thought or idea, and if we believe in a multiverse, it's like each one of these is a different path, because the discussion we have, if we grab this stack, will lead us down one path, as compared to this discussion or the path this one would lead us down. So today, let's pull this thread. Let's take the bottom one, or what I like to think of as things that are underneath that might be influencing us, and we don't even realize it. I'm going to do our 3 and 1. Take that extra sip of coffee. That Mina so lovely brought me. Okay, so flipping each card one at a time like we're reading the Pages OA book. It's always exciting. I love that first card flip. Ooh. So yesterday we had the King of Coins here. So this is another adulting card, isn't it? The King, taking care of our kingdom, making sure the things around us are taken care of. But with the King of Swords, swords are the element of air. Swords are our thoughts, our ideas, and sometimes our anxieties. And so when we are doing our adulting thing and we're the king, and again, gender neutral, it's masculine energy, feminine energy. Sometimes we have to see things clearly, and that can be difficult. Sometimes we need to make judgment calls that are not seen through an emotional lens. So when we see the King of Swords, it's not like the King of Cups, which is emotions, or the King of Coins, which is dealing with finance. This is about getting our head into the right headspace when we're the King of Swords. And sometimes it's also realizing that this is not the Justice card. We have an opinion. The Justice card, that sword is perfectly upright. But with this card, the sword's at an angle, which means that we have choices we can make that's not just based on what we should do, or what the law says, what our feeling, that could even be a moral compass. This is when we are looking at things clearly and yet can still have our own opinion. So the next card. So when we're the king and we go into battle, who's the first person we want to send? We want to send the Knight of Wands, because knights are the element of fire. Wands are the element of fire. Fire is the element of action, movement, creativity, passion, jumping into things. So, when reading tarot, there's a couple ways you can look at it when you get multiple court cards. One is that each card could correspond to a person. So, it's the person in our lives, somebody we know. One would be somebody who is taking charge of something. Another one with the Knight of Wands is somebody who is, when we are being impetuous, when we are just jumping into things, we make a decision and we jump into things. So one, they could be individual people, different people, father, son, or they're different aspects of our own personality. I.e., we make a decision about something and then we just jump into it. And sometimes, if the decision is not the best decision, well, the knights don't really put a lot of thought into it. They just get going. So it's like getting a thought in our head and running with it. But let's see what the next card is so it finishes the story out. Okay, so we get the Seven of Swords. Again, swords are our thoughts, our ideas, sometimes our anxieties. And sevens are about potential, drive, ambition. We are on a numerology track. 1 is a seed. Fours are the 4 legs on the table. 5s are always challenges because we're trying to get from 5 to 10. If it's a bell curve, 5s are always a struggle. 7 is getting pretty close to 10. It's only 3 numbers away from 10. Which means we put in our time, we put in effort. We're like, we are taking charge. We're getting things done, but it's like, again, swords can sometimes be heavy on us. But we say, fine, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get this done. I got to get this done. And sometimes when we decide that we're just going to do something, sometimes when we decide this is a passion thing, sometimes when we decide it's my way or the highway because I'm the king, you know that sometimes when we get stressed, we do things we normally wouldn't. Okay? sometimes when we are close to the end of doing something, we're getting close to the tens. Sometimes when we're just running and trying to get things done, we take shortcuts because we're not getting enough sleep. We're going hungry, angry, lonely, tired, which is halt. And we end up taking shortcuts. We're doing things we know we shouldn't. Whether it's like, doing an illegal U-turn. When we're taking care of ourselves and we give ourselves an extra 5 minutes and we miss a turn, who cares? But if we are in a rush because we let ourselves be 5 minutes late, we do an illegal U-turn. We knew we shouldn't have once the cop pulled us over. And we never do that. Why did we do that? Well, that's what happens when we allow ourselves to just run. When we need to get things done, we make a decision, we throw ourselves at something, maybe because we spent too much time as a king on other things. And then we make that wrong turn that we say, I knew I shouldn't have. And so that applies to a lot of things in our lives, whether it's work. It's all those things that make us feel like we need to run. Makes us feel like we make the decision that it's like, this isn't getting done right. This isn't going right. This is what I need to do. The king sometimes is my way or the highway. But let's take a look at the advice card. So, it's about tempering things. Again, these are all aspects of our personalities. When we are the king, we make the decision. And again, that sword could be slanted because we've let things pile up. And so we're trying to do 80% in the last 20% of the time, and we take a shortcut. Are we really grounding ourselves? Are we taking a moment to do action? But with cups, cups are our spirituality, our emotions, and our feelings. These are things we can do to check in. So with the Knight of Cups, it's not about so much rushing in, because we are still fire and energy. We can still get things done. But it's the element of water. This looks so frantic up here. So if I was going to use one word, I would just say frantic. And keep in mind that the minor cards are just the day-to-day cards. This is a welcome to a Tuesday. It's not a major destiny card. But these are the small strings that we pull that lead us into a particular direction. So today, as the King of Swords, what string are we pulling? What maybe feelings are we having? Decisions that we're making that's pulling our sword from being straight. That's making us say, well, I want to get this done anyway. I want to clean the house now anyway. And you should help me. And then we start doing U-turns because we're 5 minutes late for something. Or because we are just not in a good headspace. So today, let's focus on that Knight of Cups. Let's focus on, yes, we need to get from point A to point B. But there's a calmness to water. There's a spirituality to water. There's an emotion to water. And that's what we need to apply to all the situations today. We want to move forward, but how are they feeling about it? We want to move forward. How am I feeling about it? Spirituality is nothing sometimes more than doing the next right thing. And as Jenny says, lead with the heart. That's actually really good. Actually, that's perfect, isn't it? So with that today, I do like that. Lead with the heart. Take care, everybody. Taking that breath. And yeah, lead with the heart. And I hope you have that amazing day, amazing rest of your evening, and I am going to excitedly be back here again tomorrow. So with that, thanks again and take care.
Stars in the sky, cards in my hand, searching for signs, lost in the sand. Whispers of fate, echoes of dreams in the dark slate. Nothing's as it seems. Flip the cards.